Plants vs. Zombies. I don't like those video games. And so suddenly this game is telling you it would be like if you were playing a racing game and halfway through they were like, well, you crashed too many times. You got to play 3 rounds of FIFA soccer in order to get back on the track. It's just like,
right.
What?
That's exactly what it is. It's just like, wait, why am I doing this now? And even if it worked really well, it's just too much.
Yeah.
You don't need that much crap in the game. And that's the argument, is that, it's like, do we want more of the same and then risk us bitching, well, this is just the same as the last one? Or does the developer take the risk and say, okay, we're going to change it all up, and then have everyone going, why did they change it? It was great how it was,
Yeah.
And I found myself completely unsure. I mean,
they didn't change much. They just added new things.
They just added stuff in, and it was like if your soup is perfect and then you add a lot more of a few other ingredients in it, you very well might fuck it up. And they didn't, but I found myself going, I don't care about this. It's like I was enjoying this game, and then all of a sudden I got to do this.
But you can ignore it though, just like with Batman Arkham City. You can ignore the extra Riddler missions.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, the thing the thing about the tower defense is that there was a certain point in the game where if you level all of your assassins up to Master Assassin, then you don't ever have to deal with that ever again. And then as long as you kept, because it was only triggered when, if you were very high profile and then started knifing people in the middle of the street, it would say, okay, you got to go do one of these things, which wasn't really a super big deal, because you could always do that horrible little cutscene where you pay off the heralds to stop talking about you. just the most unsubtle thing in any video game, where this guy's like, the assassins are shitty, they killed my family, nobody likes them, and then suddenly this kind of shady looking guy rolls up and just hands him a big fat sack of money, and then he's like, I love the assassins, they're my best friends, they're good people, you should invite them into your homes.
You think that's bad? Like, one of the types of missions you could do is stalking people. So I tend to follow people from the rooftops, and there'll be guards posted there. So when a guard sees me, I'll stab him, and he'll fall onto the streets below in front of the guy I'm following, and he doesn't notice the dead guy. He just walks over him and just carries on, and all these bodies are falling from the rooftops.
The other two things they added that were pretty good was, like you mentioned earlier, the bombs, which was an interesting thing, but it felt very unnecessary. Like, there were some really fun things you could do with the bombs. I mean, you could throw the money bomb, where you kind of make your own cover by throwing this bomb full of money, and then everybody runs over to where the fake money is, or
as I call it, the make it rain bomb.
I just kind of miss the whenever you used to throw money in Assassin's Creed 2, the people on the street, they would go, money, money, money. Like, I kind of missed that in this game.
Hey, it's a coins that come out of the box with the question mark. We love these.
And then I guess the other thing they added that I actually thought was the best thing they added to this game was the hook blade on your other hand.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something that really, a zip line is a no-brainer for the Assassin's Creed games. They should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah. But not even that, but using it to once again speed up the climbing mechanics, because, in all of the Assassin's Creed games, when you get to the middle of the game, you've been playing for like 20 hours, and they're like, go climb to the top of this bullshit, and you're like, oh, God, really? Rotate around this side, rotate around.
I want to see Ezio in a climbing match, little parkour match with Nate Drake.
I think Ezio's got him beat. I mean, and I tell you what, in this game, for a 50-year-old man, woo,
yeah,
that dude climbs like a motherfucker, man.
Right.
I'm 30 years old. I can barely get out of bed some mornings. This guy's fucking street fights and up all night drinking and courting ladies that just climb up to the top of whatever.
Yeah, I find myself like going around the retainer blocks in parking lots, because I'm like, oh man, that's like at least 6 inches high right there.
That's kind of it for the single player. I mean, I feel that it's a strong entry, but I'm glad this is the last time we're going to see these characters, because
me too.
This is about all I could take, and it was fine and it was great. But if they had made one more with these two, I don't think I'd be on board with that. I think it'd be about time to start letting it go.
Yeah, it was the sequel that you almost didn't know you wanted, and then you play it and you're like, okay, you got me. But last time, no more.
It's like, all right, mean it. Just this once, and then right. So I guess you know what? Let's take a moment and speculate. What do you guys think? I mean, from you guys both beat the game?
Yes.
No. Okay. Well, then Nick, I'll speculate with you. What do you think from seeing the end of the game? Do you think we're going to get another a new ancestor protagonist to have a few games with, or do you think we're just going to go on to now it's Desmond's turn? Because I really want them to move the series into a different time period, but it kind of looks like they're almost pushing towards Assassin's Creed 3 will be mostly Desmond oriented.
I would personally hope that they just move on with Desmond now, because if they went into another time period, I'm like, okay, we know what's happening. We know why he's using the Animus and all of that. Mm-hmm. I think the next game should definitely conclude the Assassin series. So that's what I was thinking.
Well, yeah. Do you know? Because I don't know. At the end of these games, they always bring out the freaking craziness for like 5 minutes to talk about some cryptic, horrible shit. And then
there's nothing cryptic about the ending of this game. They pretty much wrapped it up and told you exactly what was going to happen with the cutscene and everything. So did you finish the game?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't. I mean, like they kind of had some loose, apocalyptic, grandiose like talking and stuff, but I didn't get any like. You know, the place where they go at the end of the game. I don't have any idea what they're going to do there. Or
I think we all figured it out that it needs to be Caveman Assassin.
Caveman Assassin.
Climbing would be a bit tricky in that game. I mean, unless there were giant jungle buildings or whatever. But...
Just seeing some caveman making himself a hood, and he accidentally cuts that little pointy bit into the front of it, like a rebel. You just oh.
It's like 2001 with the monolith. Instead of figuring out how to use bones as weapon, he accidentally crafts a wrist blade.
I want to see that. I want to see the process leading up to that, where he's tried to stab somebody with a club, but man, it just does not work. It just,
right.
So let's see. I didn't get a chance to play very much of the multiplayer. Jason, you said you dove into it a little bit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get to a lot of the better stuff that I really, or the new stuff like the capture the flag type things and stuff like that, which is really compelling. And again, that's something that I think should have been with the Assassin's Creed multiplayer all along. And this is something that I said on the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood review, if I'm not mistaken, in that the main aspect of the multiplayer is one of the most interesting and different multiplayer games you'll find out there today. With and we've got a playthrough for it that you can check out that Jeff and I dove into. It's a hell of a lot of fun. I won't describe it too much, but basically you're walking around trying to hunt a target while other people are hunting you. And it's not your crazy deathmatch. It's all about subtlety and paying attention. And it can get really, really stressful, especially when you have no idea how the motherfucker in the Harlequin outfit figures out who you are.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, anybody who's seen our look at the multiplayer knows that you were subject to a bit of murderous rage that day. Your further adventures in multiplayer, have they been more successful? Have you kind of found your groove and kind of gotten back into because it is a very different type of. I mean, even from the single player, it's a very different type of experience. You're much more subtle and slow.
Can we talk about something else? No, I didn't get any better.
Okay.
I didn't get any better, but I'll be damned if it is not the most. All you need is one kill, like per 3 days, and you're like, okay, I'm sticking with it now. I was about to give it up, but then I jumped out of the haystack and I stabbed a son of a bitch, and that is enough. That just then gives you that rush and lets loose all that dopamine, and you're like, okay, this has all been worth it.
What do you think, guys? Full price, rental, bullshit? What do you think?
I'd give it a full price. I think that the story was wrapped up very nicely, and they tweaked a lot of the things. They didn't change too much, but they tweaked a lot of things to make it better. Like, for example, the gore was a lot more violent in this game, and I loved that. And the hook blade as well, and the animation, the facial animations were definitely improved. Just small stuff like tower defense I was not a fan of and stuff like that. But yeah, absolutely a full price game.
Okay. Jason?
Yeah, me too. I think it was full price. I mean, I love the story thus far and how it continues the Assassin's Creed tale. I like the character of Ezio. I think he's really interesting and, of course, a total badass. Mm-hmm. And it's got a lot of great gameplay and stuff like that. I think it's starting to get a little bit too much. They almost push it too far, but what's there is so good and so satisfying that, it's well worth the price of admission.
Okay. I don't know if I can say much more than what you guys have already said. I'm totally in agreement. This is probably if you were going to play one Assassin's Creed game, this is probably the one I would recommend, just because they've refined the gameplay down to have so many options for doing pretty much everything, so much openness in the world, and all the additions just make the game a real joy to play. That being said, like you both had said, I think it's good that this is wrapped up. So I don't really know how much more Ezio I was really willing to suffer. So yeah, a definite strong full price. Not much more than that, but definitely worth a look. Now I tell you what, the one thing that does kind of weigh on me a little bit about this game is it seems to me like the guys over at Ubisoft have no real way to show how old somebody is than by the length of their beard.
Right? Because it's like. That's cartoon logic right there.
Exactly. Ezio, when he's young, he's got kind of just the little chin scruff, and then, in this game, he's got the full-on beard. Then we flash over to old Altair, and he's got the freaking huge Santa Claus long beard. And I don't know. I mean, according to this game, I'm 90 years old. So, whatever.
Jeff is so old. It's like Rip Van Winkle.